One thing that is very Japanese about dating in Japan, which is kokuhaku or confession of love.
Kokuhaku is kind of proposed to a woman before marriage.
Let's say you say something like, I like you and I want you to be my girlfriend. And it happens quite like early on the relationship.
I prefer naturally because kokuhaku propose is very embarrassing.
Because Japanese people tend to define the relationship quite soon. And otherwise, they will be kind of quite uncomfortable.
They start thinking about marriage at really early point, even though they don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend. But there is also social status, social value, and people are really judgmental if it comes to life.
But if you are from the state, people tend to think being boyfriend and girlfriend should happen more in an organic way. Maybe if you are either mid-20, late 20, early 30s, people think about marriage.
From the very beginning with my Japanese boyfriend, there was much more of a serious commitment. This was really potential for a long relationship.
And when they think about marriage, of course, what kind of job you have, your income level is quite important. But if you're probably a teenager, early 20s, people might not care that much about the social status. Because Japan is such a high context country, we tend not to say things, not express things verbally.
I bought her car, iPad, digital camera. So my wallet is always empty. I bought a lot of things to her to show my love.
And we just do things like cooking for each other and just simple acts of affection by which we show how we feel for each other.
Western culture, people will say how you like, how much you love. Our culture, we don't really tell our feelings to other people.
Probably is a big thing, not being able to communicate. So the way to show them, I guess, is through actions.
They want partner to understand without saying it. If they cannot really feel that, maybe it's the end of the relationship.
It's true that I am more direct about my feelings and I instantly show if I am sad or stressed or angry because I can't really put a veil on my emotions, but he can.
One of the common problems I hear from Western women who date Japanese men is that the Japanese men don't express their feelings or emotions or opinions, verbally.
My boyfriend definitely says, I love you. We say it to each other on a daily basis and he's not shy about it. We've also talked a lot about feelings and how to show them.
I don't think Japanese men, enjoy arguing or confrontation in general.
We've had indeed some fights. He realizes that if he doesn't show his anger or any other emotion, that I can't tell what is going on in his mind.
I think what they look for in a relationship is to find someone they are comfortable with.
I think ladies first is a kind of good thing, nice to lady, but in Japan it's not customary.
I think there are definitely Japanese gentlemen.
On this first date, very nice place. He ordered things, which I love. I know it's kind of the opposite of what, Japanese men are known for now, but it's like that old school bit, and I like that.
Japanese culture used to be really men first culture, so guy have to decide everything. Japanese society itself is like men first.
Woman can say no to husband, but husband cannot say no to wife. I cannot say no to her anything. So that's my wife's rule. What woman has is woman's, and what man has is woman's. I like American woman, of course. It's beautiful, right? Yeah, and there are no Japanese women around here, right? If so, I might be cute.
He didn't understand. Like, I'm a very independent woman, American woman.
Western woman, US woman is kind of strong and very talkative. I like that kind of personality.
In Japan, we have this idea of thinking that Western culture is more advanced and something that we have to learn from. We kind of have this kind of Western deep-rooted complex in our mind. So some people think that Western men are in a way superior to Japanese men.
I hear from my Japanese gal friends, they're like, oh, I like Western men. Ugh, why? You can have all of mine. They're like, no, but they're so sweet. They take you out, they treat you, I'm like, where are you dating these guys? From the United States of America? Like, no, not possible. But Japanese men, they do that. They do this for you. They're gentlemen. They take you out, they treat you. And they're like, what Japanese guys are you dating?
I dated some other guys in Japan, and they really surprised me by how gentle they were and how much effort they would put into a date.
Lord knows I've dated jerks. Not necessarily in Japan, they tend to be nicer. But, I'm like, okay, let's do a nice guy.
I had been watching dramas. I secretly had those dreams that they might be that way. I have been attracted to Japanese men since high school or university. I was curious to see if Japanese guys were as cool as I imagined.
I looked for correlation between fertility rate, marriage rate, and frequency of sex. It's two different separate problems. There isn't any correlation at all.
I do believe there is a reason for saying the Japanese are sexless in their relationships, because it is true that the traditional expectations of a man is that they work really hard. So when they come home, they're simply too tired or too stressed.
With the crazy work hours that is kind of required of them here, they don't have a time to bond with their family. They don't have the time to develop that intimacy. Because the structure of the Japanese family is much different than like Western construction. In a Western construction, you have the husband and wife kind of coming together and being like a top unit. In Japanese families, once the couple has a child, the main unit is the child and mother, and the father is like a satellite. Instead of having that sexual flow that you would put into a partner, the wife puts it into her child.
They're simply not so passionate after they get married.
Men working very hard, but it's not the only reason. It's also because the traditional role of women has also changed a lot in the last century. A woman will stop her career when she wants children, and the modern woman often will choose for a career instead of children, because it's simply too hard to combine.
Gender roles a little less, rigid than before. The society is becoming less traditional, and there will be less pressure to get married.
Women have more freedom as well in partner choice, and the same goes for having options for work.
I think people generally tend to think that being married, having kids is not the only way to be happy.